All right, so let's talk about Montessori. You've probably heard the name, but we're going to go a little deeper than just the theory. We're going to look at how this whole philosophy actually comes to life through its most important tool, the classroom itself. Okay, so right at the heart of this whole thing is this kind of weird, counterintuitive mantra, show slow hands, omit words. The basic idea is that a kid learns way better by just watching you do something slowly and carefully, instead of you just talking at them with a bunch of instructions. It's all about focusing on the action, not the explanation.
But that leads to a huge question, right? I mean, how do you teach anything complex without talking? How are you supposed to guide a kid if you're not constantly giving them instructions?
Well, here's the thing. The answer isn't some secret technique. It's actually a place. It's this incredibly thought out, meticulously designed space where the environment itself becomes the teacher. In Montessori, this is called the prepared environment, and it's all about setting the stage for kids to learn by doing.
And this is really the key takeaway here. This prepared environment, it's not just about having a pretty classroom. It's the physical version of that show, slow hands, omit words philosophy. Literally every single thing in the room, and where it's placed, is designed to guide the child without words. The room is doing the teaching.
So what's the secret sauce here? What makes this space actually work so well? Well, it all comes down to 6 core qualities. Think of this next part as a little tour of the design principles that make it all click.
Yep, just 6. 6 core ideas that, when you put them all together, create something pretty amazing.
And here they are. This is basically our roadmap for the next few minutes. Order, beauty, child scale, invitation, freedom, and peace. They all kind of build on each other, so let's dive in and break them down one by one. All right, first up, order. And look, this is way more than just being tidy. In a Montessori room, everything has its own specific spot on the shelf, no clutter. And when a kid sees that kind of order on the outside, it actually helps them build that same kind of order on the inside in their own minds. It just creates this super predictable, calm world where it's easy to focus.
Okay, number 2 is beauty. And you might be thinking, beauty? Why does that matter? Well, why use a real glass pitcher when a plastic one is safer? It's because that glass pitcher sends a message. It says, I trust you. You are capable of handling something real, and the work you're doing is important. When you use beautiful, real things, you're teaching respect for the materials and for the learning itself.
Next up, child scale. I mean, just for a second, imagine you lived in a world made for giants. That's pretty much what a kid's life is like, right? So when you build a world that's their size, with shelves they can reach, little chairs that fit, hooks at their level, you're sending this really powerful message. You're saying, this place is for you. You can do things on your own here. It's a game changer for building real independence.
All right, number 4 is invitation. Now, in a typical classroom, you get assignments, right? But here, you get invitations. Every single activity is set up perfectly on its own little tray, totally complete and ready to use. And because it looks so appealing, it just naturally makes a kid curious. It makes them want to do the work instead of feeling like they have to.
Number 5 is a big one, freedom of movement. You know, in so many schools, kids moving around is seen as a problem, a distraction. But here, it's seen as a vital part of learning. Kids aren't stuck at a desk all day. They can grab a mat and work on the floor or walk along a special line on the ground to practice their balance. The idea is that your body isn't getting in the way of learning. It's a part of it.
And finally, we've got the peace corner. Okay, and I have to be super clear about this. This is not a timeout. It's not a punishment. The absolute key difference here is choice. A child feels upset or overwhelmed, and they choose to go to this little spot to calm themselves down. It's a tool that empowers them to manage their own feelings, which is, a pretty huge life skill.
So what would you actually find in a place like this? Well, you'd see real, tangible tools to help them work through those big feelings. Maybe a soft cushion, a little chart with different faces on it to help them name their emotion, or one of those cool glitter jars you can shake and watch settle. These aren't just toys. They're tools for building emotional intelligence from the ground up.
Okay, so that was our quick tour of the 6 qualities. We've seen the what, but what about the so what? Why does any of this actually matter? How does it all circle back to that show don't tell idea we started with?
It's really this simple. The environment and the philosophy are 2 sides of the exact same coin. The room isn't just the box that learning happens in. The room is the lesson. It's the real-life, physical version of show, slow hands, omit words. The room itself is quietly showing the child about order and beauty and independence. They just absorb it all without anyone having to say a thing. So when you really boil it all down, what's the one thing that connects everything? The glass pitcher, the tiny chair, the freedom to walk around, the peace corner. Every single one of those elements is communicating one single powerful message to that child. And that word is respect. Respect for who they are, what they can do, and how they feel.
And that really leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on, doesn't it? This whole method, it's about so much more than just learning to read and write. It's about designing an entire world that shows a child they are fundamentally valued. So just think about it. What if the greatest lesson a classroom could ever teach was respect?